Today we're going to do the top 5 tips for having a great first half marathon or first full marathon, and a bonus tip at the end as well. Oh, it's very exciting. So these are my personal top tips for having a great first marathon or a great first half marathon. Now, to give this some context, I am not an elite runner. I am not out there, you know, doing sub 3-hour marathons. Regular guy, regular runner, just out there enjoying my running, done a few marathons, done a few half marathons, and these are some of the things that I have learned the hard way, where I've made a hash of it and thought, geez, I am never doing that again because that was a bad experience, or I've made my race hard, or I've just made the day not go as well as I wanted it to. So I wanted to share these tips with you, and pretty much all of them are from my own balls ups, to be frank, where I've got it all horribly wrong, and hopefully this will help you not make those same mistakes. So tip 1, preparation. And by this I'm talking about, hopefully you've got a training plan for your first half or full marathon. Whatever training plan you've got, and there are tons of training plans on the internet, and most of them are really good. Most of them will have you training multiple times throughout the week, and you're probably going to have a cross training day, or a day where you do some swimming or something as well, where just to work on your core strength and what have you. Try and stick to that training plan as much as you can. Yes, life gets in the way sometimes of training, absolutely. We've got responsibilities and jobs and children perhaps, and all sorts of things going on. But it's your training plan. This is all for you to have a successful big race. So as much as you can, and you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, look at what your plan is, look at how well you've done, and just check every single week as you're getting closer and closer to your big race. Am I on track? If you're not on track, why you're not on track, what can you do to fix it? Do you maybe do your runs a bit later, a bit earlier, whatever it is? Have that training plan and stick to it as much as you can, and just reflect on it and see what's working, and look at how you're doing and adjust it as you can. But having a plan there, having good race day prep as well is really helpful for your big day. And by that I mean the day before, get all your kit out. I often get all my kit out on my dining room table the night before a race, so I can see it's all there, it's all laid out. So when I get up on race day, I know it's all ready. I haven't got to faff about in the morning and think, oh no, where did I put my whatever? And then I'm tearing the house apart because I can't find it. Do it all the night before, have all your gear laid out. It's a lot less stressful and a lot easier. Also, have your ticket printed off, or whatever it is that you need when you get there. Don't just have it, oh, I think I've got it, have it printed out, have it ready. If you're going to drive there, have the postcode, zip code, address of wherever it is ready, so you can put it in your sat nav in your car or whatever, go there. If you're going to get the train, know what time your trains are, have your itinerary printed off. Just makes life super easy. And also aim to get there nice and early, because the car park that you thought you were going to be going to, that could be full up, could be closed, there could be a road closed. I always aim to get to a race an hour early. That way if there's any traffic hassles or whatever, I'm not going to get stressed out. I've got oodles of time. I've got time to get set up and do some stretching and all these things. And if I'm super early, well, I'll have a cup of coffee or something while I'm waiting. Much better to be there nice and early and have a much less stressful rush around on your big day because you haven't left enough time and you weren't organised. So getting everything nice and ready for your big day just makes life much easier, and you will have a better day. Tip number 2, nutrition. Now, you see a lot of people, on race day, they'll pick up gels off of a stand or an aid station, and they'll grab this and they'll grab that. And that's all great, as long as you've tried those gels before. Because how do you know those gels are going to sit well in your stomach? Now, personally, I've tried gels and I've tried different makes. I can't get on with gels. They just do not sit well on my stomach. And thankfully, I worked that out by trying gels on my long runs before my race. Now, I actually prefer blocks. I find blocks they just sit better on my stomach. So whatever nutrition you're going to use, if you are going to have some gels or some blocks or whatever, make sure you've tried it on your long training runs before the race. And also I see lots of people saying, oh, I'm going to carbo load with this, that and the other. That's great. If you've tried carbo loading, again, on your long runs or before your long runs. If you haven't, if you've never done carbo loading before for any of your practice, and then the day before your race, you try and eat a kilo of rice or potatoes or whatever, and then the day of the race you wake up and your stomach's all at 6s and 7s, well, no wonder. You've never done that before. It's best to do what you've done successfully on your training runs, because that's what your stomach's used to. And when you're doing the race, like electrolyte drinks and things like that, try them out before the race when you're doing your long runs. The long runs aren't just there to get your legs nice and ready. It's also to try all these things out so that it doesn't upset your stomach. Because if your stomach goes sideways during a race, that is a real pain. That's really inconvenient. Tip number 3 is the gear that you wear, and having the gear that's suitable for the race that you're going to do. In other words, if you're doing a trail race and it starts raining and, you know, grotty weather before, and you're wearing road shoes, you're probably going to struggle. Also, you want to dress for the temperature and not just because it's raining. So in England at the moment, well, in England it rains a lot anyway, but if you look at what the temperature is going to be, if you're going to be doing a half marathon or a marathon, you're going to be out for a number of hours. And it's raining, you're going to get wet. You're going to get probably wet through. What you don't want to be doing is wet through and have loads of layers on you because you think that you're going to be freezing cold, when actually the temperature is not that cold. And then you're going to have all these soaking wet clothes and it's going to be a pain. Better just to accept you're going to get wet and wear the clothes for the temperature. You'll be lugging a whole lot less round. And also mentally, you'll be ready. If you can do some research on the course that you're going to do, have a look online, have a look at race videos if there are any, read all the info that you get from the race director or the organisers so you know what the course is kind of about, and then just build your gear or what you're going to wear around that. Just that little bit of, again, I know it goes back to the preparation, just gives you a much better experience. Number 4. This also harks back to the gear, and that is nothing new on race day. Now obviously we've touched on not having any sort of new food or nutrition on race day, but also your gear, no new trainers or sneakers or running shoes or whatever you want to call them, no new shorts, no new socks on race day, no new t-shirts, water bottles, hydration packs or whatever. All of the gear that you are going to wear, carry, have in your pocket, if you're going to have like a mobile phone, like an armband, all of that, you should have tried it all several times on your long runs. Because you might think, oh, I've got these brand new shoes and they're going to be awesome. What if they give you blisters? What if you bought some new shorts and they chafe and they give you loads of rubbing and it's just, you know, oh, there's seams that you didn't realise were seams and it's going to spoil your whole race for the sake of trying all your gear out on those longer runs, or shorter runs, but definitely the longer runs. The longer runs, as I say, are there to try everything out. So everything you're going to wear and have on you for your big race, you're going to have used it several times, and that way you know all of its quirks, if it's good, if it's suitable, and you're happy and you're comfortable with it. Because if you're comfortable with everything that's going on, you'll be more relaxed, you'll have a more enjoyable race. Number 5. That is your plan for the race day. And by plan for the race day, it's like you've done all your prep, you've got everything ready, you've done lots of long runs, you've stuck with your training plan. You should have a fairly reasonable idea of the kind of pace that you can run at. And when you want to take on water, when you don't need to take on water, because you don't want to overhydrate, and also you don't want to be absolutely gasping for water either. Both are very bad. So when it comes to the actual day, it's really easy to get really carried away, because come race day, you are going to feel epic. You're going to be there at the start line, they're probably going to get you all jazzed up and excited, and there might be music playing and all these people, and you've tapered down so you feel super fresh, and the race starts and you feel like $1 million and you go off way too fast. which is exactly what I did on my first marathon. Went off way too fast for the first few miles, and then later on paid the price big time because I felt fantastic at the beginning of my first marathon. I thought I was invincible, and I was not. Much better to golf at a slightly slower pace at the beginning of your race than you actually need to. Just ease into the race, just to have a really controlled start. Know the pace that you're comfortable with. You've done that pace on the long runs. Just, I'd even say go 30 seconds a mile below that pace. Just ease yourself in there. If you have an easier, more comfortable start, you're going to get to the middle. You're still going to feel good. You're going to go, you know, past that point. You're still going to feel good. It's when you get towards the end that you're going to be digging deep. And if you haven't gone like I did in my very first one and sort of blew up and got all carried away, you won't be paying the price at the end, and you'll have an easier end of the race, and you'll just feel brilliant when you go across that finish line. But that does really revolve around knowing what your plan is, knowing the pace you're going to work at, the pace that you're comfortable with, and just staying within what you know you can do because it's what you've been training for. So a good plan that you stick to and don't get all carried away like I stupidly did in my first one, it will help you leaps and bounds. And finally, bonus tip, and it's just really stating the bleeding obvious, but you can get completely lost in it with everything else going on, and that is have fun. We do this for fun. We do this for the sense of achievement. There's going to be all these other people there. You're going to have a great time. When you're seeing people at the aid stations, talk to them, say hello, say thank you. You know, people are cheering you on, wave and say thanks. Enjoy your day. You're doing something brilliant. You're doing something amazing. Absolutely enjoy it as much as you can. And that's what I've got. I hope that helps. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope your first half or full marathon is an amazing experience. And I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.